Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into Tales of Neckbeard, because those storytime format videos seem to be doing pretty well. Thank you everybody and all the new subscribers. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more of these storytime format videos in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, start up them wholesome internet discussions, and make a new friend. And lastly, if you have not already, subscribe and turn on those notifications. They're actually getting pretty close to 60,000 subs. That would be awesome. But without further ado, let's get into this. Our first story comes to us from username Flake. My friend the Neckbeard, his fake crazy pills, weaponized dandruff, and the monster that made him this way. There are two creatures in this double feature, Flake and Crusher. You'll see why I picked these nicknames soon enough. A bit of background to start. For the first half of my adolescence, I was what could easily be considered a loser, a lanky, shy kid with a perpetually dorky haircut who was far too into things like Dungeons and Dragons and Star Wars, a situation only made worse by a sudden divorce and quick move to a new school district. I had only two other friends throughout elementary school, other dorks who knew to stick together. Once we got to junior high, we met Flake. An instant friendship started when we saw him spelling swear words with his food at lunch. He was a sweet, goofy theater kid with even sweeter parents I considered a second mom and dad. The four of us were thick as thieves, and honestly, none of us were that weird at the time. Just unlucky enough to be the four poor kids at school with weird districting lines made of mostly wealthy families. The summer after 8th grade is when things started to change. I was blessed and had a hardcore glow up, which paired with the high school being in a different school district meant I had a fresh start and a social life. Even though I suddenly found myself moderately popular once high school started, I had been through too much with my childhood friends to abandon them, even if I got the occasional side eye for hanging out with the weird kids because they were my brothers. That being said, Flake sure made that stance beyond difficult with the new persona he adopted once he hit our teenage years. I don't know why he started acting like a complete goon, but I blame cringe early 2000s Newgrounds animations like Foamy the Squirrel and Happy Tree Friends. He started wearing all black every day with tacky spiked armbands or sweatbands adorned with pentagrams and anarchy symbols on his wrist. That got so dirty they changed colors and made the skin under them damp and 10 shades more pale. All his shirts were either Slipknot tees or those button-up shirts with skulls and flames, basically the worst of those Hot Topic catalogs. I could honestly deal with his awful fashion choices. Most of us had cringe fashion back in the MySpace days, but it was his over-the-top fake edgy personality that drove me up the wall. He would spend class with these awful, fake, psychotic scowls on his face, interrupting teachers by making some completely unrelated comment about how much he liked fires or knives or swords, sometimes following that up with some stupid, crazy laugh that just sounded like a witch's cackle. Once a teacher that had a low tolerance for clowns rolled her eyes and very sarcastically said, "Okay, Flake, calm, I'm starting to get scared," to which Flake replied, "You should be," with a self-satisfied smirk. Our second year, some poor new teacher who didn't know better sent him to the guidance counselor out of concern, which Flake wore as a badge of honor, saying he freaked out a teacher so badly she sent me to the crazy doctor. The absolute worst was before class when everyone was talking and joking with each other. You would yell, "Be quiet, I can't hear the voices in my head," as a sad bid for attention. Like all neckbeards, his hygiene was questionable, and when not closing for attention, he would spend class vigorously scratching thick flakes of dandruff onto a folder, blowing it out into the open air once he amassed a sizable pile. At assemblies, he would sit behind people he didn't like on the bleachers and lean over to sneakily shower them in his blizzard of dandruff. He also had a redhead obsession, and any girl with even remotely reddish hair would be in his crosshairs. A few of them were too nice to tell him off, and he would stay glued to them, trying to play the long game of winning their attention as a friend. He would physically hang off them in long, uncomfortable hugs, saying, "Best friend," in a voice not unlike Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Oh, my bad. "My friend." This made all of their boyfriends uncomfortable, and other years I had to use the clout to convince more than one of them not to kick his butt because he was harmless and posed less than zero threat. By the end of year 2, sophomore year rolled around, I was hanging out with people from neighboring schools as well and decided I'd try introducing some of them to Flake. His obnoxious persona was non-existent outside of school where there wasn't a crowd, and I thought maybe he could get some friends who didn't know him as an edgy tryhard with weaponized dandruff. Boy, was I wrong. As soon as they showed up, it was lights, camera, crazy. I tried keeping conversations non-controversial so he didn't have an opportunity to be weird, but even talking about music, he steered the conversation towards Slipknot and how all of the music about people being S and being alone and full of anger spoke to him. The cherry on top was when he pulled out a bottle of prescription pills, showing off the black and yellow capsules before saying, "Hold up, I gotta take my crazy pills. They make sure I don't lose it, so then do something effed up." They were effing acne pills. I knew because I was prescribed the exact same kind. To this day, I still wonder if maybe I should have let him have his moment, but I was so tired of his performance, I went, "Flake, come on, those pills are for acne. I take the exact same ones." His cocky smirk instantly vanished, and he stuttered out some excuse about how he must have gotten the bottles mixed up. I can't remember the rest of the hangout, I was too mortified, but I know he never saw those people again. The summer between year 2 and 3, all my questions about what happened to Flake were suddenly answered when Flake's friend, who was normally only in town for summer, that I had never met, moved here full time. This dude, Crusher, was the neckbeard. Top tier, cloud of stench, multiple chins, fedora, and the most edgy attitude, paired with an undeserved "I'm better than everyone else" level of confidence with a compulsive liar garnish. It was clear that for whatever reason, Flake idolized this effing loser. Maybe it was because he was naive and believed Crush whenever he lied about knowing the members of a given metal band and having three-ways every weekend. Think Dermot from Venture Bros, only morbidly obese. He was the type who would never admit he was full of S. One time we played Smash Bros. Melee after he claimed to be a national champion, and the string of matches went like this. "Okay, well, you only won because I went easy on you and didn't play my character." Next match he loses with his main. "Well, you only won because you played a cheap character." Marth, I guess. Play another match and let him literally pick my character. He picks Peach and I still win. Pfft, whatever. I don't have time to sit around playing Smash non-stop. It's no fun playing with tryhards. Whenever I would ask him to prove he had all of these music industry contacts or girlfriends, he'd say I was too untrustworthy to keep it on the down low. And whenever I'd call him on his BS attitude, he'd just say I couldn't take a joke and was killing the vibe. He called women females or bees, depending on how he felt that day, and the only joy I ever got out of hanging out with him were the many times he tried talking tough to the wrong person and turned into a whimpering puddle of spineless goo when they got in his face. The best being when he waddled off full-on crying after someone cold-cocked him in the jaw for commenting on their girlfriend's breasts. The only reason I never even backhanded him myself was that Flake always asked me to just be cool and put up with him as a favor, and despite how annoying and weird Flake was, he was still my friend, so I honored that. I couldn't find a way to organically work it into the story, but the nickname Crusher came from his habit of causing whatever he sat on to break with his girth. Multiple friends lost lawn chairs to his fat butt, and one super unfortunate friend was never able to open the trunk of his car again after Crusher sat on it during a hangout where Flake dragged him along. Thankfully, by the end of the first semester, the school found out Crusher's mom had lied about his address, and he was shipped off to another school district to terrorize more people, and I never saw him again. So there you have it, how I met the Omega Neckbeard and how he turned my childhood friend into a near insufferable edgelord. If Flake was Darth Vader, then Crusher was Emperor Palpatine. I lost touch with Flake after high school, but according to his social media, it looks like he finally got rid of Crusher, cleaned up his life, and even has a wife and kid now. If you guys like this one, I got plenty more. My school had some really beery winners. Honestly, that last part just had me kind of curious how heavy you gotta be to disable a car trunk. I was actually surprised that at the end it actually turned out to be a happy ending for the other dude, because he actually got his life together and has a wife, so congratulations, dude. Everybody's got those weird edgy phases we got growing up, so if you're making progress by getting out of that, then that's good progress, step forwards. Our next story is titled, The Confession of Veggiebeard. I've been pondering this on and off for the past year. On one hand, I could just let this petty BS go, because it's over and done with. On the other hand, I just need to get this off my chest and tell somebody about what I did. It's time I come clean about this, because if I don't do it now, someone else will do it in the future, and it'll just get worse. I have a real problem, and I am seeking therapy. I am not saying this to justify anything that happened, because what I did was really scummy. I am not asking permission from any of the parties involved, because this is my own story. I will not sugarcoat anything that I did, and a lot of it is pretty bad. So, without getting into it, let's begin. In 2017, I voiced a character in an abridged series, a parody based off of the VeggieTales franchise. I quickly became friends with the people behind the series, and we hit it off pretty quick. I even went so far as the point that I got to join the Discord server. Unfortunately, it wouldn't last. One of the people in question connected to this community attempted to off themselves. I will not divulge her name for privacy reasons. Shortly afterward, another user began having panic attacks and told me he was considering it too. I contacted one of the admins who at the time went by the name of some dude who arts. SDWA is no longer a part of this community as far as I know, so I am going to continue to refer to them as SWDA, as it is impossible to find them on social media anyways, so no privacy is really breached. We were able to talk the kid out of going through with his plans, and things returned to normal. However, shortly afterwards, I had the idiotic, stupid idea to post a meme that made light of it in the meme channel. This was my third strike on the Discord server, the first two coming from me forgetting to keep images out of the general chat. Now, I was banned for 7 days, while the owner of the Discord server, Terrence, was off Discord for the week. SDWA told me that if I just waited, I could try to appeal to Trevor when the week was over. Being especially paranoid, I'm not sure if it was desperation or just deranged obsession. I kept DMing and contacting SWDA and other members of the group in mutual Discord servers we shared. This can be classified as harassment because I did not let it go. I kept pushing and shoving over the next month, refusing to leave well enough alone until Terrence himself finally contacted me. We came to an agreement that I would never contact them again, and that was the end of it. Or was it? Because stupid old me continued to harass SWDA and Terrence when neither of them did anything wrong, and it was all me from the get-go. From here, I went full Onision, constantly recording and posting videos that called out and harassed the veggie community because I thought I was in the right. I kept begging, please take me back, you guys. I did wrong, but I'm innocent, you guys. Eventually, they snapped and made it perfectly clear that I flew too close to the sun. It was time to get burned. SWDA held a live stream where he planned to show all of our DMs on Discord and Hangouts where I harassed him and several others be begging to let me back into the group. He let me know about this live stream ahead of time and I panicked, telling friends, but also telling them not to tell my family. Naturally, someone told my family, which is good looking back on it, but during that time, I panicked. Mom and Dad were extremely upset because a friend had called and tipped them off during a family picnic with our relatives on Veterans Day of 2019. They showed up in the live stream chat, feeling they needed to defend me to the people watching, but don't think I got off easy. I had electronics taken away for the entire summer, up until November or December. They told me never to contact Terrence or SWDA ever again. I said I wouldn't, and that really was the end of it. Or was it? Because 1 year later, I thought it would be a good idea to contact Terrence and apologize again. So, stupid me, I went onto his Discord server and tried to apologize, wanting to explain how much I thought I had changed in the past year. On August 22nd of 2020, I joined his Discord server under a new account and tried to start over. One of the admins, not SWDA, because something happened between him and the veggie community apparently, I have no idea what, but anyways, the guys tell me I should ask Terrence first, so I did. Understandably, he declined, requesting that I leave him be. After this, I remained silent. I was working a job at Taco Bell, going to college, trying to shove the things I had done and my bitterness at Terrence, who did nothing wrong and had nothing to do with it to begin with, completely out of my mind. Something still compelled me to watch his media analysis videos every now and then, but other than that, I tried to let it go. I had a new chance to work on a legitimate YouTube channel. I've been trying to make content that actually is worth watching, and things had been going better. And then 5 months later, I went and screwed it up all over again. It was February of 2021. I saw one of the Media Mementos videos in my recommended feeds. Why it showed up that day, I have no idea. It was an analysis of the Peter Jackson films Meet the Feebles. I commented, "Wow, I can't believe this is the same guy who directed Lord of the Rings." Lo and behold, guess who messed up again? I commented on the video knowing full well that it would just cause Terrence to have another reaction. I don't know why I still thought this was acceptable to do, but I did. Terrence saw this and DM'd me. He was rightfully pissed and warns that if I ever tried to contact him again or even comment on a video of his, that he would go public with everything I had done. And that is the end of it. I figured if I came out and made this passage, explained everything I did wrong, and that I could beat Trevor to the punch over something extremely petty. I am not in the right, and my behavior over the past few years had been despicable. So now that you've heard what I've done, I'm putting an end to it. As for the aftermath, I am undergoing therapy and working in retail. I know some people will see that as an extremely lame attempt at justification, but that's not what this is at all. If I ever make the same mistake contacting Terrence or anyone from the VT community ever again, I urge them to step out and make it public. What I did was inexcusable and needs to be accounted for. It is always good when people can come forward and admit that they messed up really badly, but really the only thing that you can do to stop yourself is to actually stop yourself, hold yourself accountable, and not do any type of things that, again, that'll cause you to mess up or cause any of that information to actually be something that you are afraid of. There are just some things that are really not appropriate to joke about, and it's your job to hold yourself accountable to your own actions. So the best thing you can really do is just remember that that is not okay and that's not a good thing to do, because honestly, that was really messed up. And with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more content like this in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and if you have not already, subscribed and turn on those notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.